Hello there, it's Hillary, and welcome back for another video. This is the July garden vlog, and I have been loving sharing these garden updates. I will have the whole playlist linked in the description box below. July kicked off with some very hot weather here in Oregon, and we got this little $12 kiddie pool from Target on sale and had so much fun soaking up some sun and cooling off in it at the beginning of July. Over the first few days of July, we also finished up the spray paint project, updating the patio furniture we have. This was a hand-me-down that I got in 2017 from my parents' neighbor, and I've had it since then. It's been very well loved, and so this year we thought it would be a nice idea to date it with some spray paint. So my husband sanded down the couch and the two chairs, and then we worked on spray painting them with just black spray paint I got on Amazon, and I love how this project turned out. Super simple, easy way to make our backyard furniture look nicer. And we just did one coat. I know probably two coats would last longer, but that's what we had the time and energy for. And I'm so pleased with how it turned out. So it was really exciting to rip off the tape that he had put on and just see how beautiful this project turned out. And again, for just a very cheap amount of money for a few cans of spray paint, we have a totally new look to the patio furniture. So you can see the right one is the one that was spray painted, the left one we still had to do. And you can just see that it made it look so much better. So we've just been really enjoying updating our backyard and working on projects. So you can see we added the cushions back to it and have just been loving being outside, and we eat a lot of our meals out here, and I read the Bible out here. So we also started working on spray painting the umbrella stand. That's another hand-me-down that we have as well too. I spent a lot of July collecting the chamomile, and I would put it in bowls and let it dry in the sun for several days, and been putting it in jars to save and use for tea throughout hopefully the winter. And we just really love this chamomile bush and making chamomile tea. So that was what a lot of July was spent doing. Also, my husband finally got our watering system set up and working. So that has been really nice as well. Saves us a lot of time. We still have to hand water some things in our backyard and hand water all of our friends. At least the two garden beds and the two arches now have water. He has it set up on a timer and that we can change depending on the day. So very thankful.
Sadly, our one pepper we've gotten so far has a hole, so we're gonna throw it away. Sad day.
In July, we harvested some of our blueberries on our two blueberry bushes and made blueberry waffles, which were delicious. I also made a lot of sun tea, including dandelion leaf sun tea, lemon sun tea, and chamomile rose petal, which was the most beautiful of all of them. And also made our first batch of zucchini bread. One very fascinating aspect of the garden throughout the month of July was watching the sunflowers, and it amazed me how so many bugs would go on the sunflower leaves for shelter and shade from the sun. And there were so many different types of bugs, big bugs, little bugs, ladybugs, and it was really cool to see the sunflowers become this refuge. And we got our first flowers starting to form, and they just kept getting taller and taller every single day. I also absolutely loved watching our other flowers bloom and blossom. This is the forget-me-not, and just the most beautiful, stunning blue color. And the bumblebees absolutely loved the forget-me-not. I would go over there in the evenings and there would be like 5 bumblebees on this little plant, and that was really, really amazing to watch them do their thing, and it was just extremely mesmerizing as well to see them bop from flower to flower. They were also on the bumblebee buffet a lot, which is what you see here. That's the name of this plant, and I just adored watching these bumblebees and seeing them flutter about the garden. I also had some tomatoes that were flying, and that was really exciting in July to watch the tomatoes take shape. I would bring the cosmos inside so that bugs wouldn't eat them. You can see my chamomile jar is starting to grow. We also had our first blooms on our fuchsia in the back, which was really neat. And also our hanging baskets in the front were just so full of color, and they definitely are a little high maintenance with all the sun and water that we need to give them. Really enjoyed seeing everything bloom and blossom. So I did not realize that cilantro is actually a cool weather plant. So we probably shouldn't have really planted it when we did or planted it earlier. And so we ended up pulling out the cilantro in July, and I should have harvested it earlier, so it was mostly just coriander seeds. Ah, but that's okay. Again, great learning process. And so what I did was I harvested a lot of the coriander seeds to use in cooking. I dried them out, and I kind of felt like, this is what they used to do in the olden times. They would sit on the ground and pull seeds. Okay, look at this beautiful butterfly that visited our garden. Orange and black and white, and it was just so stunning to see it also dance about the sunflowers. Here's a little ladybug there. So the sunflowers just were such a refuge for so many little critters throughout the month of July. Our pumpkins were also starting to grow, and I just took these pictures of our backyard to remember what it looked like. Oh, here, this was a weed. It was probably 5 feet tall. Yes. I found this really interesting. Um, what was this? The cucumbers have their little tendrils, and they totally attached to the cage we have for them, the trellis, which is great. And then we had some new peppers forming after we had to get rid of the one with the hole in it. So bugs had gotten in. And the golden zucchinis are growing, and the regular zucchinis, and just a lot of garden growth. We had our tomatoes. These are the little sweetie tomatoes. And the pumpkin is growing. That's big compared to my hand. This one ended up being our largest pumpkin eventually. And just so much fun to harvest different things and use them in the garden. This was the strawberry plant that we got from either Lowe's or Home Depot, and we were watering it and everything. It just got kind of crispy. And I think maybe it had a fungus of some sort, and we ended up just getting rid of it. But I saw it was grown with Miracle-Gro, so my husband said, I think maybe this was God's way of just protecting us from whatever was in that strawberry plant. So we were 0 for 0. We had 2 strawberry plant duds this year. Hopefully next year we can have some success with strawberries. Leave your tips in the comments. And then I've been just harvesting more chamomile and lavender, and then the sunflower started opening, our first one, and we had our first zinnia, and I was showing just how tall the sunflowers were getting with me behind it. But it was so neat just within a day to see this sunflower unfurl its leaves and burst open. It was just fascinating to watch every day. I was like, "Oh, what's the sunflower doing next?" And it just amazes me how what what a creator God is and how he is so creative. Okay, then these dragonflies were visiting our garden, our yard. We had this red one, and then there's also a black one. I never got the black one on camera, but look at this red dragonfly just sitting there on our bird feeder, and it keeps coming around, and it just looks fake. It looks so neat. So I had to document. Then we had our very first tomato. We got our sweetie tomato, our little baby cherry tomato, and the whole bush has produced so much so far. But here's my husband harvesting our very first of the little tomatoes. This was super exciting. They're just so red, and he's so happy. We're so happy about them. And then what's this? Oh, we thought in the place where we had the cilantro, we would attempt to plant the sweet potato. So this was one that I had at the house inside, and we didn't use it fast enough. And so we thought, let's plant it and just see what happens. And so I don't really know what'll happen with this. I don't know if we planted it too late or not, or what's going on, but because you can't see it, obviously. But we thought it would be fun to plant it and just see what happens. So, kind of neat to experiment and try new things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And it's just a part of the learning and growing process of being little gardeners. So, we got our sweet potato planted. Hopefully, I wasn't saying sweet tomato. It's a potato. Sweet potato. And then we ended July with doing a project I was so excited about. We tore out this little dog gate or chicken gate. I don't know what animal they had here, the previous owners, but they kept some sort of animal here and had built this fence gate situation. And we don't have animals. I don't think we will ever have animals. And this just looked kind of janky. And so my husband spent several hours pulling it apart, taking it down, and I know that was a really big project for him. I just kind of sat and watched because I was on my period this day and was in no mood for helping. No condition to help, but I cheered him on and brought coconut water to fuel him. But anyways, I was so amazed at how much this opened up our yard. I feel like it looks so much bigger. So let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas on what you think we should do with this side yard. Unfortunately, our neighbors built this gigantic shed right next to our fence. Anyways, I feel like we could make this area look really neat. I just am I don't know, I'm not totally sure how or what we would do. But it was really neat to have this project and really pleased with how it turned out with having our yard just totally opened up now and have this kind of janky gate all gone.
What we're doing?
We are cutting our first legend. Zoom in on this
It's
baby.
that guy back there.
Alright, let's see if I can even get it cut.
There it's coming. Oh, it's kind of weird shape.
It's a quirky legend.
that is the July garden vlog. I hope this video inspired and encouraged you to get outside, to plant something, to watch something grow. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any Creative Faith videos. Check out the Creative Faith gardening printable. I'll have that linked below, as well as the playlist to watch more of my garden vlogs. And I will see you next time. Bye, friend!